So here's Aaliyah Boston stealing the ball and finding Caitlin Clark on the break. But as soon as she's about to build up a head of steam, Diamond the Shields just bulldozed her out of nowhere and even laughed it off afterward as if she had done nothing. Meanwhile, Caitlin seems already used to this kind of treatment as she just stands up and walks away. However, it didn't stop her from blurting out sweet nothings on the Shields. Cause you see, that was actually the third time she fouled her hard in just 38 seconds, much to the approval and support of the biggest Caitlin Clark hater of all time. I mean, this was not just a random act of violence directed at CC, because based on this interesting stat right here, 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season have been committed against Caitlin, and weirdly enough, 80% of those came from Angel Reese and her Chi-Town crew. This was the last matchup between the Sky and the Fever this season, and it's pretty clear that the close pals of Angel Reese are trying their best to take out Caitlin so she would not have any chance to win the Rookie of the Year award. And see, not only players like the Shields are looking to put Caitlin out of the race, because recently ESPN released their latest rookie rankings, and in that article they put Angel Reese at the #1 spot over Caitlin. Even though everybody knows that CC has better stats overall than Reese this season, and the Fever has a better win-loss record than the Sky. I mean, heading to this highly anticipated clash, the Rookie of the Year race was somehow considered to be pretty much a toss-up between Caitlin and Angel Reese, which is why there's no doubt in anyone's mind that whoever comes up on top in this particular game would surely take home the Rookie of the Year trophy. Anyway, with that being said, let's quickly jump right into the action. Caitlin starts things off by showcasing her vision as she locates NaLyssa Smith for the uncontested bucket underneath.
Her shoulders to be more aggressive.
Then she hops in for a three, coming off a brush screen from AB.
Caitlin Clark for three.
Before blowing by her defender here to finish all the way to the hole. CC was on the roll early, and moments later, she wowed the crowd with back-to-back mind-blowing dimes. First, she sets up Kelsey Mitchell for their patented backdoor play, and after stealing the ball from Angel Reese, CC threads the needle here with this bounce pass to Temi on the run, who then converted the and one. Caitlin played the entire first quarter and finished with 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists, while Angel Reese, on the other hand, was hitting the side of the backboard to end up with 2 points. Anyway, in the second frame, Caitlin starts to heat up early as she hits back-to-back triples to put the Fever ahead.
First quarter, Clark again, heating up.
Then after that, she throws a touchdown pass to Erica Wheeler before feeding Damaris Dantas for the foul line jumper.
And Dantas from the elbow.
CC was clearly in the zone midway through the second, and she continued to roll by hitting Mitchell with another backdoor pass, before turning on her jets for another quick finish at the rim.
Score, and you think that's your time to take a breather.
The Fever built a 5-point lead at the half, with Caitlin dropping 15 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds on 3 of 5 shooting from distance. Meanwhile, her fierce rookie rival settled only with 4 points and 6 rebounds and 4 turnovers after 20 minutes of play. With the way their numbers were trending, it's pretty clear who has the advantage in this head-to-head matchup. And see, things would just turn from bad to worse for Reese from here on out, as Caitlin completely dominated and owned Angel and the Sky during the entire second half. I mean, check this out. So here's Caitlin bringing down the ball, and after looking to attack, she just slams the brakes and cooks her defender with this nasty step-back 3.
15 points in the first half, looking to add to her tally.
Now, after that, Caitlin did almost the exact same thing, except that she got clipped and earned the 3 points from the charity stripe. Then, a couple of possessions later, she draws a bunch of bodies to free up NaLyssa Smith, who hit a one-handed runner. And, to close things out, Caitlin finds Temi on the short roll, who then swings it to Dantas for the wide-open 3-ball. The Fever blows up their lead to 14 points after 3 quarters, with Caitlin adding 8 points and 2 assists to her total output. Now, on the other hand, Angel Reese only scored 1 point on 2 attempts, while logging a -4 plus- rating in the same quarter. Anyway, it's pretty much a done deal by the fourth quarter as the Fever maintains their lead throughout the rest of the way behind Caitlin's brilliance. I mean, here she is toying with Reese and Sky's defense as she locates AB at the free throw line, and then she served up Lexi Hull, aka Lexi Hustle, with back-to-back three-point bombs.
Sizes it up. She's been great the last 10 games.
Before she followed up with one of her own to really put this one out of reach.
38%. Caitlin Clark, another three.
With less than 4 minutes left on the clock, the game was already in the books. But right before the Fever could take Caitlin off the floor, the Shields just blasted CC out of nowhere, with the clear intention of hurting her in the process.
Here's Clark for 29 points.
That vicious attack was eventually upgraded to a flagrant one, and as Caitlin headed to the bench, she embarrassed Reese and the rest of her crew by hyping up the Chicago crowd, sending a strong message that she owned them at their own house.
Game of the season, and an enemy territory gets this kind of salute as she exits the game.
Now, just when you think things couldn't get worse for the Chicago Sky, they actually stoop to all-time lows just to show how desperate they are when it comes to upstaging Caitlin Clark. I mean, right after the Fever pulled out their starters, the Sky, on the other hand, left Angel Reese on the floor to pad her stats up. And see, here's the funny thing. Even though Fever's entire starters were sitting on the bench while up by 25, Reese was only able to muster 2 points during garbage time against the Fever's third stringers, while trying her very best to grab another quote-unquote double-double.
This is 78-66. Caitlin had 30, 12 assists. There's the double-double queen. 98-78. Caitlin's already on the bus. Caitlin's already back in Indiana. Oh, another double-double.
Sure, Reese was hailed as the queen of rebounds and double-doubles by the end of the game, as she notched 11 boards to go along with 10 points. But see, this is just downright silly and utterly meaningless if you compare it to what Caitlin has put up. I mean, CC dropped 31 points, 12 assists, and 4 rebounds in that game, on 57% shooting from the field and 55.6% from downtown. Like, at this point, we should already stop the debate on who's going to be the Rookie of the Year, because it's clear as day that Caitlin leads by a mile in the race, especially with how this latest matchup turned out. See, the only thing that Reese is good at is rebounding, and the only reason why she's killing it on the boards is that most of it comes from her own misses, as she can't even make easy shots from point-blank range. Reese still has a lot of work to do to round out her game and become a more complete player, especially when it comes to finishing around the rim and expanding her mid-range game. And with that said, this is exactly why Caitlin is the better player overall, as she can do a lot more things and brings more stuff to the table with her scoring, playmaking, and leadership. Anyway, with that monster performance against the Sky, I think it's time we put the Rookie of the Year race in the rear view, because we know that Caitlin already has it in the bag, and start putting out her name into the MVP conversation instead, because she has the numbers as well as the winning record to back it all up.